of Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on and behind the lines, this is your song.
Yeah, welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every night at midnight Eastern, or maybe midnight 18. That's 9 on the Pacific coast, and we run for about an hour each night. We have a conversation about guns. We've got a couple of hosts. We got Angelina jumping in from California. Thanks for joining.
What's up, please?
And then we got Smeggy jumping in, running the show from Michigan. Thanks for joining. Thanks for running the show.
Yeah, no problem. How's everyone doing tonight?
And I'm in Waco, Texas.
Oh. Isn't that the famous for the Branch Davidians?
Oh, I was going to say famous for the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame, which I'm visiting tomorrow, but also the FBI and ATF raided under the watchful eye of, was that Napolitano? No, that was Janet Reno. And
Janet Reno.
After they got their practice with the family up in Idaho, they came down here and took out their aggressions on people in Texas. That's a topic for another day, maybe. I'm here for the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame, which thanks to Clover and Ghost both mentioned it, and I think other people had mentioned it when I was passing through here before, but last time I was hauling butt to get to my dad's birthday up in Illinois, and didn't have time to stop. So this time I do.
Very cool. So you think it's going to be a lot of Chuck Norris jokes, or
that'd be awesome.
like regular Texas Rangers?
Wait, what?
Did you say the Texas Ranger thing? Wasn't it Walker Texas Ranger, Chuck Norris?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never thought about that. I think the Lone Ranger. The longest of all the Rangers.
Someone say the loneliest as well.
Yeah, I grew up saying the Long Ranger, so I didn't know it was a Lone Ranger until I could read. Anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And then other adventures in Texas.
Very
so what's
cool.
the name? Today's
Sounds
Tuesday.
like
2A day. Today's Tuesday, right?
Today is Tuesday, Second Amendment Day, episode 547. So I feel like we always solve the Second Amendment. I don't know. What else is there to talk about?
Did anybody watch Ghost Chat earlier?
I saw some of it.
I thought that was pretty good.
I mean, it was no Daily Gun show, but
he tries his best.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting in an effort. They're really trying, you know.
Give credit where credit's due.
It's not like they have 500-something episodes under their belt. And they never take it on the road. Well, no, they do take it on the road. They were all over Tulsa. Anyway, that was a good show, and I didn't listen to the other one. What's that other one that's on Tuesdays? And then Hatfield was on. Or wait, he's on after us. He's Quark in the Cave. You know that?
Well, yeah, but his regular show was on earlier. He has one at 6 p.m. and then his late night one is just kind of like a cave atmosphere.
It's more like
Which doesn't mean I can't do a cave anyways, you know. Either way.
Or a dugout.
Yeah.
So Texas is incredibly hot. There needs to be like some kind of a thing on Google Maps where they tell you where the temperate zone is, so you can just park there because this is super hot already.
That would be interesting. Pull up the map and have like all the temperatures or whatever, like a weather map, but like the color coded. You just like avoid the red.
It is hot here too.
It snowed today. Woohoo!
Ugh. I had to deal with snow the other day.
But yeah.
Did you see it? I lived through it. I managed to live through it with the help of propane.
I'm surprised you survived. But anyway, Second Amendment, I think this is a good time to mention the Second Amendment rallies on April 14th. That's coming up this weekend. That is basically this
So are you
Saturday.
going to any
It's already
rallies?
April 14th? What?
Yeah, dude.
Well, it's April 11th.
You know it's hard to get to your menu when you got a touch screen. Oh, I threw it on the right. How do I do that?
So I don't know if your guys' states are doing something. I haven't seen much on Michigan. I mean, I know we had one for the counter the lives march to take our rights or whatever. We had one that afternoon, so I don't know if everyone's just kind of like fatigued, like don't want to go to a rally once a month or whatever.
Do you know who's like initiating this one?
I'm not sure. I'm just seeing people shout it out. So I don't know what the initial thing was,
on that day.
What?
Is it just like a day to rally?
Yeah, a lot of people are going up to their state capitals on Saturday. And it sounds like they're trying to emulate or, whatever, the thing that happened in November where, have something in every single state. But again, I think it's like, someone came up with the general idea and then it's on individuals to figure out, if they're going to organize in their state or not.
So are you guys doing any rallying? Like, do you have any plans to do what you do?
Well, that's the thing. I haven't seen anything on Michigan, and I actually was planning on going up north. So
the Second Amendment isn't convenient for Smeggy this weekend.
That is correct. I
guess what I'm hearing is Smeggy doesn't think anyone needs any guns.
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything going on in Arizona. If somebody knows, let us know. But I could potentially be in Phoenix on Saturday. Potentially. No, actually, it'd be really tough. I can't be there either. I can't be any capital on Saturday real easily. I could haul ass and be there Saturday, maybe. But I'd have to find out if there's one there. I guess I would if there was one there.
Sacramento is really far away.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's the same thing with Texas. Like, I'm all the way over here in Waco. What's their capital? Oh, wait, is their capital Austin?
Yes, it is. I think you're close, aren't you?
Oh, shit. Yeah, but some freaking taxes are Saturday. I can't really be in Austin on Monday. So I can't be in Austin on Saturday and still do stuff on Monday. So that can't. I could be in Phoenix and come back, but not.
Taxes are due on Tuesday this year.
Well, that extra day I wish would help, but it ain't. Are you sure? Because I've been pointing at Saturday all this time, and everybody's been like, "Yep." Or the 16th, and everybody's been like, "Yep, the 16th."
I think the USAA app tells me the 17th.
Okay, thanks.
I just heard a thing today. I was watching a thing from John Stossel. He was talking about taxes and whatnot, and so he said something about, and tax day being, April 17th. Blah blah blah.
Did
whatever.
He say April or
that would be amazing, wouldn't it? But no, he didn't.
Okay, so I was gonna say Jesus.
That would be cool. So I mean, I hope they get all the rallies do well and all the states have one and everyone shows up and all that stuff. But some infringements are okay. So I guess I'm sitting this one out.
I hear that, brother. I've been hanging out with Night Strike, so I'm all about the infringement. All right, so I keep muting because I'm eating over here. So I haven't really been hearing much about that because obviously we've been real Tulsa-centric here, and then I guess nobody really talked about it there, or at least if they did, I didn't hear it. There was lots of conversations going on. But that's cool. It's an effort, and I'm curious to see if this will be the second major one, then we got to start doing follow-ups and making them as effective as possible, just like any kind of campaign. After the campaign, you can still be effective with make use of all the effort people put into showing up and being there. Mainly to keep the media aware of it, right? At some point, we need to start taking a lead from these people who can literally pay, PR people and have some kind of an event, but then let it be known that we're having that event and encourage the media to show up and cover it.
Yeah, exactly. Each one I've been to so far, there's been like one person there interviewing people, and the one was like a blogger guy who was, he was recording audio, but I think it was just almost more as notes so he could like type it up later. And then the other one, it was a local Lansing station. So, like the 5 o'clock news or whatever, they probably ran a 30-second story on it. In fact, I meant to go look for that video and I never did find it. Maybe I'll do that, see how they covered it. But yeah, it's nowhere near the major one. And part of it, I wonder, is it because these are always all like grassroots stuff? I mean, we're all just people, right? And some people may be better organized than others and may have experience or not. But you're right, we need to share information with each other so we can all get better. But it's like, I almost wonder, it's like if we had some major backing by some of the other like major gun groups, like if Gun Owners America put out a thing was like, go to your capital April 14th, like would that get more people? Or even like the NRA or Second Amendment Foundation or somebody instead. I mean, I like that it's grassroots because we're not AstroTurf. We're legitimately just people telling our friends, and then a bunch of people show up and using, like gun channels, Instagram, like Facebook, like whatever, of letting people know. But I wonder if that's, it takes a lot of work to do grassroots stuff. And like I said, I think maybe some of us aren't as good at it. So that's why we don't quite get the media coverage that you would expect of like this other one. Like you said, it has a major PR firm behind it. Like, of course, all the major guys are going to show up to cover that thing.
Fucking British had a whole army. They had an army that dominated the planet. We said F that, and a bunch of people came up out of their houses with a couple of flintlocks and resisted against an army that was basically colonizing the planet. So if we think that a couple of media people who are sitting in New York throw money at something is a challenge, then we're weak.
Well, I'm not saying it as an excuse. I'm trying to,
I'm not
decipher what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just saying that to the world. Also, I don't know. It's gonna be tough for me to get my head back in the game because I'm driving so much. But maybe people will talk about it in the chats and stuff. But what I have not seen, which I am paying a little bit of attention to, is the Instagrams. Because it's a convenient platform, it isn't bloated and dying like YouTube. It doesn't take 5 minutes to get the content, the information across either. I haven't seen any memes or any kind of, I guess not a meme, but any kind of announcements or any kind of graphics that, get people to remember that it's next weekend. Because when you're talking about it right now, I literally just, remembered that people had been talking about doing it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it much around the Instagrams.
I saw some from the Early Watch Nation and some from 2018 Matters, but that's about it, I think.
I wonder if it's not really that well known. I mean, I know it's grassroots, but like it's got to be more than like 3 people,
It all starts somewhere, but that's exactly, we have to get better if it is just going to be 3 people that start it. We got to turn that 3 into 30, the 30 into 300, 300 into 3,000. And that's just bringing 10 every person gets 10. It's easy, just like a pyramid scheme.
Well, we just told 35 just now, so if you average that out, we all did our 10.
So we're done. That's why Smeggy's going on vacation.
Yeah. Second Amendment.
Well, all right. So I don't know. We're just beating around the bush there, I think, unless there was something else on that. I have a science question. We can transition into the next topic. So if that's great. Does anybody have anything else to throw into that one?
I don't.
No, I think we're good.
All right. So I bought a bunch of carbonated beverages in Arizona, which is 2,400 feet above sea level. And then I drove it to Oklahoma, which is probably at sea level. I have no idea. And now I'm in Texas, which I'm pretty sure is completely flat and at sea level, but I'm not sure. Now, when I open them, they're like exploding everywhere. You think that's because when they were bottled at 2,400 feet, that's different than here? Or do you think it's from being in the van for a few days or some other phenomenon?
I don't know. Maybe being in the van, like jiggling around.
Yeah, I would think that because you'd have less pressure the higher altitude. So, like, they should explode less now that you're, further down. Because the air pressure is pushing in more.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'd be the opposite effect. Okay. That's all. Thanks, Mr. Science.
No problem. I'm very used to taking pop bottles onto an airplane and then open it up when it's up top and then closing it back up. And then by the time we land again, the bottle's all squished in and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was thinking of more. Bob's saying cool them down, and that's definitely a thing. These are super hot because it's super hot here in Texas. And I can't afford ice. So now we can move on, and they're going to do members of the day, right? So we're going to do a couple because I know people now. So we got Jesma out there, or I don't know how to say it. You call him Jesma. And then Tardot's out there too. So those two people from gun channels who were always just icons, and now they're human beings. They're verified. So those are our members of the day. Yep, people that got off their ass, went down to Tulsa, and experienced what it's like to hang out with a bunch of people. They grabbed a camera and walked around the gun show to help promote the show, the vendors, the guns, the Second Amendment. They took time out of their lives, expense, drove all over the damn place. Not alone. They did it with 34 other people. But them two are our members of the day. They're both in the YouTube chat, even though YouTube is bloated and dying and worthless. Might as well go over there and click on both of their channels and subscribe to them. Unless you hate the Second Amendment. Gun channel.
Yeah, and so they're also, or at least Jesma is on the gun channel side as well. I don't think I've seen Tardot say something there yet, but
so then subscribe to Jesma first since he's on gun channel.
Yes, definitely. I would agree with that. But yeah, they seem like cool people. They do like shows and stuff all the time, and it's good content.
And now they're verified. I like that. I don't know why.
Although I don't know, Jesma just said that I was wrong and something about carbonation or whatever, so now I don't like them.
Oh, sorry, not member of the day anymore. That's what you get for challenging Smeggy.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's the carbonation separating. That's why I said it's probably more likely because it got all jolted around. But anyways, that was a side note.
All right, well, that was like sand through his fingertips. So, yeah. All right, so what's our next segment or whatever we're calling it?
What state do we want to feature? Are we going to feature a state? Jimmy's not here because he blew off the show again. So our state of the state, want to do Oklahoma? Have we done it before? Or recently, I guess? No, we've done it.
Didn't we do it last week?
Oh, we probably did because I was heading there.
Yeah, I think we did.
Texas? You believe Texas even like guns? It looks like
only kinda.
They like guns, do they?
It looks like a weird throwing star, so I figure they like ninja weapons.
Good old Texas.
Texas is one of those states that's always amazed me because you'd think they were super pro gun, they'd be leading the way. You know, Texas and all the history and their individuals and blah blah blah. But they're not. And when I first got my CCW, we used to laugh at Texas because they had this goofy one where if you got a pistol CCW, like a revolver CCW, I think the pistol one you could shoot a revolver, but if you were for some reason decided I'm gonna get a revolver CCW, then you couldn't even carry a pistol. How weird is that? And then they fixed that, I guess, a while back now. But then they have something now where you can't open carry, or they barely got it. I don't even know where they're at with open carry. Did they get
I
open
think
carry?
they just got open carry. And then everyone, of course, was like, oh, Old West, blood in the streets, blah, 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 all that junk. And it was like, dude, you guys are so late to the party. Like, so many other people have open carry. Like, if it was a problem, you would have known it by now.
Exactly.
But state permits to purchase, no. Firearm registration, no. Owner's license, no. Assault weapons law, no. So far, they're doing good. Magazine capacity restriction, no. So carry license required. Well, I guess that's the thing, right? So the carry license, you don't need one for long guns. You need one for handguns. It's a shall issue. And then open carry, you can carry both. But I think individuals with a handgun carry license are permitted to carry openly. So you have to have the carry license in order to open carry even, which I always thought was weird, right? Because the carry license is like the concealed carry license, but then that allows you to open carry.
And what bugs me about that is poor people and old people. So you're an old guy, you're a poor guy, you're an old lady, you're a poor girl, then you want to, you wish you could live in a nice place. So you've got to live someplace probably economical. And unfortunately, that sometimes means crime is around. And if you want to, have something that says, leave me alone, for whatever reason you decide that's the way to do it, you don't get that option. You have to go get a CCW, which is burden and time and cost. And that's something that a lot of people that are making ends meet don't have many of, right? So that really bugs me about it. I think open carry should be like constitutional. Like everything should be constitutional, but I don't understand. Like Arizona, you could always just open carry. If you got a permit, then you could conceal, but anybody could open. Anybody could legally own a gun. So I would have thought Texas would start up that way.
Yeah. And then concealed carry on college campus, no for long guns, yes for handguns. You may carry in parking lot, parking garages, outdoor walkways on campus. Okay, so public four-year universities and public two-year colleges must allow concealed carry in campus buildings as well. Universities will be allowed to designate certain sensitive areas as gun-free zones, and these will be subject to legislative analysis. So if it's publicly funded or it's a public university, then they have to allow concealed carry. Although I guess certain areas could be gun-free, but I bet you if some college tried to make like their entire area gun-free, that would get challenged with the legislative analysis. State preemption on local restrictions, yes. So municipalities cannot regulate ownership, transfer, storage, or licensing of firearm, ammo, or accessories. Local ordinances can regulate the discharge of firearms, such as for noise, nuisance, and public safety, but not in contradiction to state law concerning justified use of a firearm. No for NFA weapon restrictions, so that's a good one. Peaceable journey laws, yes. Castle doctrine / stand your ground, yes. Background checks for private sales, no. So like most of the check boxes are good. Really, I think the only kind of negative is that you need to have a license to open carry. But other than that, like they actually are pretty good. And I know they were trying to go for constitutional carry. I believe, I don't know, one of the governors or someone like said, like it's a 3-pronged attack. We'll get like shall issue, open carry, and then constitutional carry, like one after another. And so they're on step 2 of 3. But other than that, that's pretty good.
Yep. And as much as I was giving them shit, I'm gonna praise Texas on this one. This might be a little controversial, but I don't care. They can use lethal force for property, and that was one of those things that's like, why do you need an AR-15 or one of those kind of things. I think a lot of people, even pro-gun people, have some kind of issue with lethal force for property because of the antis are going to jump to the stupid conclusion that you're going to shoot somebody in the back over a VCR, which is the example we always use. And if you want to demean it to that whole concept, to that specific thing, then it sounds ridiculous. But when you look at it from the bad guy breaking into your house, and not your house, but a little old lady's house, a single mom's house, a guy who's trying to provide for his family in another state or something, he's on his own and he's, whatever, there's all kinds of situations where someone might be vulnerable. And if that person has someone break into their house, how is it ever the victim of how is it ever how could it be, why would it be the victim's responsibility to know the intent of an intruder? And on the other side, shooting in the back for a VCR, property is a firearm, property is a vehicle, property is anything that could be used violently. And why wouldn't it be considered responsible to stop someone who's already broken into an occupied place and stolen property? How do you know what they're about to do? You may not be responsible for what they're going to do with that firearm, but I think that it's something that the other states are lacking. And I really like the idea that Texas has that and sticks with it. I'm sure it's old school and a lot of other states shame them for it, but I'm going to say pat Texas on the back for that. I like that.
Yeah, no, that one's one of those ones. I think we went around in circles one time on that one. I believe I slightly disagree with you, but you've made good points. And again, we don't have to open up the can of worms now. But it's one of those like you've made me think about something that previously I had never thought of it that way before. And I always appreciate those types of conversations. So
I'm curious now, how many Texans are out there? Show of hands. And I guess if you have lived in Texas, you can make that a caveat and include yourself as a Texan.
Oh. Well, I think maybe while we're waiting for that real quick, I just want to mention. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to give the legislative update and just basically to say that there hasn't been much. There hasn't been anything this year. As of last year, like in the spring, they lowered the cost of their carry license. They did something where you can get your a temporary no-cost license for carry replacements. So if you lose your license, you can get a replacement at no cost. And that's kind of nice. So it's like little stuff like that, I think, still counts as a win. And then in December, Attorney General issued opinion on guns and security teams in Texas churches. So I think that was, I think that's one of those ones. I didn't open up the thing, but I think that's one of the ones where, like, if the church says it's okay, then you can carry. Like, it's not against the law to. You just have to, like, have the minister or the rabbi or the whatever. I don't know, all the holy peoples, like, have their, permission. Or say, like, yeah, this church is open for guns, and then people are allowed to carry there. So
I'm all about, I don't like laws, especially at a federal level. But if they're going to make a law, then if the law says something like it's up to the discretion of the locality, then that's a law I can get behind, because now you're putting the authority back where it belongs, the very local level where actually individuals can be aware of what's going on and not some bureaucratic procedure that can't encompass every facet.
Right. Well, and especially, that's like one of those things. Like you said, I think it's only a law because, like, originally it was like, this is your carry permit, and these are the places you can't. So then the only way you're allowed to start carrying there is if they make a law saying you can, if the people who own it say it's okay. And I've never understood why, like, a place of worship is a restricted zone. I get courts, jailhouse, maybe even stadium. Like, I kind of think it'd be no big deal. But you know, I never understood why like place of worship was like a restricted zone, like a school or a jail or a courthouse or something. Those are they're different things. So I guess that's, yeah, like I said, I think
because
that's
it's human nature. If you tell a bad guy not to do something and you say it with authority and you point your finger at the ground, then they're not going to do that to me.
That's true.
So when Smaggy rudely interrupted maybe before, I was asking if any of us lived in Texas.
Nope.
Smaggy?
I have not.
Well, I'm pulling a night strike on you. I lived here when I was a little baby. When I was born or whatever, my dad was in the Air Force. And so I lived here from like 3 years, I think. So I'm pulling a night strike and I'm a native Texan. Does that make me, well, I wasn't born here necessarily, but if I lived here from 1 to 3, does that make me a Texan?
No, because you weren't born there.
But I'm a Texan.
No, but you lived there.
Native.
Yeah,
yeah,
I lived here for 3 years. Like there. I was on some census probably as a Texan at some point.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think if you've lived somewhere, you can claim that state if you want.
All right, I'm claiming it, even though I was like a baby. I did have guns. I owned a gun when I was here because Did
he just lag out for a second? I know he said he owned guns when he was there, and then it kind of went bloop.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see him come back in a second.
Yep. Are you with us, G-Webs?
Nah, I can't tell what's going on. I better
okay, now we hear you. Yeah, it just kind of blipped out for a second right after you said, I've owned guns because I got one as a baby.
Oh, so when I was a little baby, my dad had given my mom a gun, and then she didn't want it. So when I was a little baby, he said, okay, it's my kids then. So when I was born, I had a gun. So that means when we moved to Texas, he had it with me, and that means I had my gun when I was here. I just was saying I didn't shoot it very much because I was a little baby, technically.
Do you still have that gun today?
I sold that gun for money.
Oh.
It was a single shot 22. It was stupid, but I didn't like it. And, well, you know, because I grew out of that like in a minute. So it was neat for a while, but then I figured I wasn't into guns. So I stripped down to maybe 17 for a few years there. And that was one that got some school books or something back in the day.
Oh, you downsized to only having 17 guns at one point.
Yeah, we were talking
about
them the other day. That yeah, for a long time after I got out of the Army, I was like, yeah, whatever, guns, blah blah blah. And then I didn't really have that many, but I think when I don't have that many, it was like 17.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I've changed that. I'm embarrassed about that, but I'm willing to admit it, and it's no longer the case.
Well, we can all learn from your mistakes then. It's a good teachable moment.
All right, now we can get into the good stuff. We talked about our obligational topics. Now we can get into the gun shows or gun shops, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you've been hitting up some recently. Do you want to do one of those ones that you've recently seen?
Yeah, I was pissed because I drove to Tulsa in whatever 18 hours, right? So I didn't get to see any gun shops. I passed a couple, but I didn't get to see any because nothing was open. So on the way back, I was moseying. I seen 3 shops today. Which one do you want to do? 1, 2, or 3? And we'll do that.
Let's do 2. Let's do 2.
All right,
it is Second Amendment Tuesday.
That's a good point. Yeah, and it's Tuesday. So it seems like it's an obvious. And this was the coolest one, too, and a new one. So I was in Oklahoma City, and I was waiting to hear back from, went to pick up the Old West Guns cards, right? I got a bunch of those. So I was waiting to hear back from Dallas on whether or not, you know, it was good to go to head down. So I kind of staged myself in South Oklahoma City, I think. And anyway, I was heading to the gym, take a shower. My favorite way to find a gun shop is just sitting there, like on my way to go do something else. And I had time. Boom, here's a gun shop. And it's King's Pawn and Gun. I did the thing on Instagram about it. So I stopped by. Thanks to Angelina, I have a decal that says Country Loophole Tour location. Then gave them a couple of stickers for the tour that Angelina made in the USA, and gave them a couple of the business cards that say thanks for your hospitality, and give them some links so that they can follow up and see where we're posting the stuff about their shops. So I had that stuff, and that was it was the second shop I was able to hand those off to. So that was cool. And the first shop that gave a shit, let's put it that way. And this guy had time to BS. He let me take some pictures. You kind of saw from the pictures, it's not a huge shop. It's a pawn shop, 50-50 pawn shop and gun shop. Or you checking it out there?
Yeah, I looked for it. It looks like this is like
that's it.
The website's like pawnshop.net, and then this happens to be...
Yeah, that's like a Yelp version of it or something. I don't know if they have one, but they do have an Instagram. You could check out their Instagram. Go to my Instagram, click on the thing. I linked to their Instagram. It's King's Pawn OKC. If you want to go directly to Instagram. They've been there since '89. The guy who was running it now was a kid when they built it. And he said, I've been here since we were literally built the building. He said he was helping drag the 2x4s from the truck and, standing around getting in people's way when they were building it. And he started working there when he was later. And then now he runs the shop. It's a family shop. He said because of the situations now with the internet and whatnot, that the shop wouldn't even be there without the pawn shop, that, they're not getting enough just gun sales, which is frustrating. But he was real upbeat and optimistic about it. He was cool with the idea of the tour. And just a overall great experience. For what's that pie doing there? What was all that about? That's not on my feed. That's on your feed. So
that's a true statement. I'm trying to find your things. You said to go to yours. So
gotcha.
But some other dude has some pie.
That's 45. Ohio 45, right? Did you meet him?
No.
Okay. So anyway, good visit. They were real, I just popped in out of nowhere. I stayed there for a couple minutes. We talked a little bit. One of the things I noticed was they had some of the shockwaves, and he was saying this and that, and I said something about the shockwaves. I thought were a nice boost in the arm to the shooting culture. Gave us something new to play with and buy stuff for and shoot. And he said, yeah, in fact, he knows of one of his customers who is not able to walk anymore. So when he hunts, he has the disability hunt or whatever you call it, where you could drive around in a four-wheeler and shoot from the vehicle, the special permission for people that have issues walking and whatnot. So for that guy, being on the back of a four-wheeler trying to shoot birds, that shockwave, basically a firearm that's 12 gauge that has less than a 26-inch, less than an 18-inch barrel, but I think, is it 26 overall? Whatever. It doesn't have a stock. It doesn't have a full barrel like a full shotgun. That gives them a chance to not only pick it up because it's lightweight, but also maneuver it on this vehicle. So I guess he's been a successful hunter now for a while now because of those. So I never even thought about that, but yeah, right there you go. So not only is the shockwave awesome because it's kind of putting something down right next to that gray area of the NFA definitions and challenging why those lines are even there. But it's also facilitating people that aren't able to get out with a full-size shotgun and get out hunting and shooting. It's on the other side.
On the gun website's one?
Yeah, okay. You can click to that. Some of those have clicks.
I just was sick of scrolling. Like, one of your things had to have been liked by gun websites.
Don't read my comments.
This is like the most laborious way to not type in GUN up there instead of
yes. I am not typing anything. I'm waiting for you to.
Okay, so there's the free bagels. I go to the Planet Hollywood, that purple gym, and they allegedly give out bagels once a month, and they give out pizza once a month. I've never seen the pizza ever, but today I finally ate a free bagel. Boom, and free coffee. And later, I took that free coffee, put it in the car, or the van, and then drove down to Chickasaw Nation, where Hacienda has a little bit of Chickasaw in them. So I always like to stop at their chocolate factory, buy a little bit of chocolate, and they give free coffee also. So threw a little bit more of coffee in there as a refresher, and then had an enjoyable drive from Chickasaw down to Dallas with dark chocolate and coffee. Pretty good. Knives might have a little chocolate color. Oh, maybe. Oh
this is off their Instagram. You'd think that they would own their name but I guess
Well,
not.
and that's unfortunately that's the kind of stuff that we deal with as web people or people that are just a bit familiar with the web when we find places like gun shops. So number one, somebody who does websites for a living, they think they're better than everybody. They think that they know stuff that no one else knows, and their information is more valuable than you can imagine. Then maybe they are, maybe they aren't worth their money, but whatever it is, it's money. Gun shops, what do they got? Nothing. They don't have no money. So very few shops, unless they have somebody in-house, a kid, a good friend, or somebody to do an awesome website for them. Very few shops can afford to have a nice site. And like this, they don't even have a site. So unfortunately, they might have thought, it's not worth the money. It's not worth putting the effort into it. We don't know the actual details there, but what I'm getting at is when we make efforts online with linking to things and letting them know that we're sharing their electronic presence, the only place that they're able to put their stuff out there besides their own physical location and a gun show, right? When we're helping them to facilitate that link, then maybe it makes that link more valuable to them, and maybe they keep that presence on the internet. Is that important for that store? Hell yeah. Is that important for the Second Amendment? Pretty much, because that's how the community stays relevant. If they let all the gun shops off the internet because they don't feel like they're worth being there, then it's the same as having the gun shops off the main street. It's the same as having the gun shops not in the newspaper. They haven't been able to put firearms listings in newspapers in a long time. It's the same as not having firearms on YouTube or Facebook. So one of the projects that we're doing here with this daily gun show and with the driving around is to impress on everybody that we can do something. Our efforts can be useful, and that's, I think, an indication of that. But anyway, that's the shop. You can click on my little arrow so you can see the picture.
That's what I was going to plan on doing here in a second. So, yeah, it's kind of those targets. I got the steel targets. Ooh, nice. Got some surplus. Ugh. A little expensive for some surplus cans, but okay.
Yeah, but that one had orange on it.
Some clean
orange.
All about that orange life, I know.
Well, it's free orange life.
Oh, yeah, there's some of your tools and whatnot. Pretty nice sign, at least in real life. Where'd the arrow go?
That was the last one.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah,
it looked like these dots down here was only lit up like halfway through, but now I see the last one is. But yeah, okay, so a bunch of ammo back behind the counter too. That's cool.
Yeah. It's always an art to not make the store look empty. I mean, it's not the biggest store out there, but want to let people know what they do have, and hopefully inspire people to take a camera out of your own pocket. I'm using my telephone. I don't do anything fancy. I walk in like a regular dude and I go, hey, do you mind if I take a couple of pictures of your store? This case, she actually said, why? And I said, because I put them on the internet. We do a podcast. She said, sure, go right ahead. That's all I had to say. Took a couple of pictures. The guy got done talking to the customer. He says, hey, how you doing? I said, great. Gave him the package that Angelina made up for us with the decal and the stickers and the business card. Said, really, thank you for being here. Thanks for letting me take a couple of pictures of the shop. And then the conversation started. Sometimes it doesn't start and I just leave. But the idea isn't to go out and do their work for them. I mean, they're still their own company and we're capitalists, but we can, as activists and people that are enthusiasts, we can go out there and kind of prime the pump and let people know it's out there. And maybe put some crappy pictures of their store out there and they decide, hey, let's kick our website back up and do something about it. Or maybe somebody who's listening to this says, that's shitty pictures of that store. I'm gonna go get better ones. And then they post better ones. That's even better. So whatever the results, we were doing something here.
Did they put the decal in their window?
No, at least not in front of me.
Maybe next year you'll go back and you'll see it there.
Maybe we'll talk about one of the other stores one of these days, and maybe there's a different result from the decals.
Oh, let's talk about that after the show.
Somebody pick number 2. That's the store we talked about today. So we'll continue on. Like I think I already mentioned, I'm going to the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame tomorrow. So I also get to do taxes all night. But depending on how far I get on that, I'll spend some time looking for a gun shop tomorrow and then head to the next location. We'll talk about probably the Hall of Fame tomorrow, I guess. Unless we want to talk about the shop again.
Yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow. Can't plan ahead or whatever. Come on.
43 people watching. Appreciate it. 27 of you gave us a thumb up. The other rest of you are just stealing the show, but whatever. We're gonna still let you listen. We're gonna let you know that you're stealing it.
Yeah. 16.
So I understand that those are probably the people watching on gun channels, but even though YouTube is dead and blowing and it kind of stinks over there, and they let anonymous accounts in, so it's just a pain in the ass to even deal with all of it. We'd appreciate it if you go over and click on it just for a second to thumb that thing up, and then you can close it because we really don't care. It's just that the thumbs are an attempt to get a gun-related podcast up on the main live page. So when you go to gun or YouTube, there's just some sucker who doesn't go look at gun stuff. They're going to tell you what's new, what's live. And I suspect that if you have 100% thumb ratio, the logarithm might say, hey, this is something people are interested in, and maybe suggest it to someone. If a human being sees it, great, but I don't really care because I look at the internet like the Matrix as a bunch of connections and links and APIs and shit. So when I think of the numbers getting closer to 100%, I start seeing algorithms click in and decide that gun-related stuff is relevant and is important, and we might see it distributed out there. Hey, look what we got here, Canadian.
Hey guys, sorry I've been around. I'm going through. I had to do a disposition for the court case and a bunch of other shit. So,
no worries, Bob. Glad to have you back. So, how is that going?
Yeah,
I want to say nothing.
Well, I mean. The stress levels are ridiculous. I'm at this point. I don't know. I mean,
well, let's talk guns. Let's get your mind off it and talk guns. Glad to see you back.
Yeah.
And just for the record, we got the thumbs up to 36. So good job, guys. Thanks, everyone.
If we don't get max thumbs for Bob being back, then y'all will be kicked out.
I mean, come on, like 5 or 6 more thumbs.
The girls listening. I'm pretty sure the girls all thumbed it up, so they don't get to get kicked out.
I think last night we were just talking about Bob and how he has to live in seclusion because of paparazzi find him.
Kind of like that, yeah. It's
otherwise it's a pain in the freaking ass.
Oh, right now our weather's doing this weather change, and when it does that, my fibromyalgia goes crazy, and I'm just.
Yeah.
So we want to do a gun movie of the day?
Let's give it a try. Are there any movies about guns out there?
I don't think so.
Is it even legal with the First Amendment? I don't believe that the framers of the Constitution and the writers of the Bill of Rights even knew about movies. So how could they allow guns in movies as part of the First Amendment?
Yeah, it's clearly not covered. I mean, it was designed for quill and pen. I mean, was
I'm
the
okay
printing
with
press even around back then? I feel like that's a fully semi-auto writing device.
I feel like a movie about hunting would be okay, but with like a single shot rifle. Anyway, we'll take the first from the gun channel side. The first suggestion for a movie. You two people need to get over to the gun channel side. Get rid of it. Come on. But yeah, thanks for the thumbs up. We appreciate it. Like I say, I just like to see the logarithm get screwed around with a little bit. So anytime you watch any channel, decide to not thumb us up. I mean, I can't imagine why you'd watch a show and not like it. But if you want to, don't like us, but like every other gun-related thing you see. Think of it as screwing with Google's little logarithms. You get to do that with your little mouse. And when you don't, you make a decision to just be a chump audience. All right, I'll quit ragging on them. What were you going to do?
I see Troy came up with Commando.
I don't know if have we ever even done Commando?
I don't know.
I've not seen it, so we'll start there.
Well, I've done Commando, and I think I've also seen the movie.
So, Angelina, you have not seen Commando, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with the chick from Who's the Boss in it?
Nope.
Have you seen Who's the Boss?
Yeah, I used to be way into that.
Okay, well, that girl from that show, the little girl, is the little girl in Commando. And then
Arnold Schwarzenegger's in there?
It's like her dad. He carries around logs and then like rocket launchers. I don't even remember what that movie's about. He goes into a bar, right, and buys guns or something, or he goes into some gun shop and buys guns. I haven't seen the movie forever.
I don't know, but I like him. I voted for him, so I should watch that.
He was like a what, like ex like special forces guy or something, and then he's got to like work for some dictator or something.
Yeah, like they go down to blow up an island. Well, the bad guy steals his daughter. So the last thing you want to do is steal Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter when he has
right. But doesn't he kind of like blackmail him or whatever? Like, or I guess that's like ransom. And then he ends up like screwing him over.
It was definitely a feel good shoot 'em up type of movie. It wasn't, if I remember right, it wasn't like the most complicated plot in the world. It was like, I did this, and now I'm going to retaliate, and then I win. But I remember they went to an island or something. All right, I guess we're not going to do a video.
Yeah, I don't know about that part. I've looked up the firearm database. So apparently there's a Beretta that he steals from a tool shed, or takes the Beretta from an arsenal, hidden in his tool shed, and tucks it in his belt. He never gets to use it, and it disappears when he crashes his truck. So it's like they made it a point for him to be like, I'm going to bring this with me, and then it never shows up again in the rest of the movie.
I might have seen this now, but I don't know if I'm confusing it with like some other Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie.
It can happen, but this has got to be the cheesiest of all of them, right? Because Predator's kind of almost cheesy, but it's awesome. And this one was more cheesy than anything else I remember. Right? It was kind of like Bad Boys before the Bad Boys happened. And,
it was one of the cheesiest Arnie movies. I mean, there was scenes in it that were just a joke. He was running across the field, and 8 or 9 guys shooting at him with assault rifles. And
what's an assault rifle?
And yeah, no round was hitting him, and he would fire, and every shot just take a guy out. It was just ridiculous.
But I'm looking through it. It definitely has all of your classic like 80s movie guns. Got like the Uzi, micro Uzi, Mac 10, the HK 94A3. Got some HK rifles in it, an M16A1, like all that kind of stuff. Like basically, if you picture like an action movie type thing, it's got all the guns you would think. There was a Desert Eagle in it, a couple revolvers.
Also, if I remember correctly, it's got Ray Dawn Chong in it, like Tommy Chong's daughter.
That's the one he falls in love with, right?
Well, she ends up kind of partnered up with him somehow, but I don't know if he falls in love with her. She's kind of young for him.
It's got a Steyr AUG, some shotguns.
Was that the first time we've seen Tommy Chong's daughter in a movie?
No, actually, she was in quite a few before that, and has been in quite a few movies. She just never became a big star or anything. She just, was almost a character actor.
I like her. I think she's pretty good. Plus, she's Tommy Chong's daughter.
Ooh, they have a 4-barrel rocket launcher in the movie.
Yeah, that's a famous scene, right? It is him with the 4-barreled rocket launcher, or no, it was her actually shot it.
Yeah. Yeah, the lady.
Well, so what would you give it, Snaggy? Out of 2 thumbs. 2 erect thumbs, or whatever Bob says.
I'll give it kind of a thumb. If you're in the mood to not think and you just want to see a cheesy shoot 'em up, go to town. But so I wouldn't ride my bike to Blockbuster to rent it.
So would you say a half thumb or no thumb?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say no thumb, but doesn't get a full one. So like my thumb twitched a little, it's kind of almost so like a click the button on the remote, but not quite.
All right, that's pretty much no. Bob.
Well, going with your description, I'll go with a limp thumb. So it's kind of like sideways. Yeah, give it a sideways thumb.
Like, it's better than not watching it, right? I mean, you know.
Like a collective. Okay, G-Webs, what about you?
I reserve my 2 thumbs for the best movies, and this one is not the best movie, but if you haven't seen it, then you're wrong. So 2 thumbs. And I mean, it's the best movie, but it's Commando. Come on, there's so many one-liners, there's so many things about it that are in our culture as gun people. It's got to be seen. It's like Red Dawn or Platoon, or it's one of the big ones, like Predator. Come on.
Yeah, but they had real stories. I mean, that was my problem.
Well, I'm not saying it's the best of all of them, but I've given it the 2 thumbs in respect for its position, is all I'm saying. And
So
what does it take you, 2 hours? Watch it.
Pretty much 3 thumbs out of 8.
You didn't give it anything, huh? Because you ain't seen it.
I haven't seen it, so I
you received to give your own governor a thumb, and Tommy Daughter a thumb, and who's the boss? A thumb.
Yeah.
If you have,
I mean, if it's good, I'll give it 2 thumbs. But we'll wait till I see it.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen it and you're not making a vote, we can't count your thumb, so it wouldn't be out of 8; it would be out of 6.
Oh, Bob with the logic.
I'm just saying.
I don't think that was very nice, Bob.
It's the truth.
Don't bring any truth bombs. I don't like that.
It hurts, I know.
All right, so see it. It sounds like that's okay. Do we have a gun of the day? I mean,
Browning high power.
Oh, Bob.
All right, Browning high power.
Well, nobody else is saying anything.
Well, did you hear the news today, ironically, about that gun?
No.
Now, I don't want you to get mad at me because Pawnery is the one that told me about it, and I want you to get mad at Pawnery because he deserves it because he's the one that brought it up. But Browning announced today that they're no longer going to make, and I won't even say it because you know what I'm about to say. But I'm sorry to say, they're not going to make it anymore.
Yeah, just like Colt quit making the single action. They'll quit for a year or 2 and then go, oh, what did we do? All these other companies are making all this money making replica guns.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's the first stage. He just found out about it. He's in denial
all
still.
that matters is the design. I don't care who's making it. Browning sold lots of designs to Winchester that we call Winchesters, and they're Browning designed, and we love them. He just made good guns. I'm just, so I don't care who manufactures it, as long as they keep true to the Browning design, I'm good.
Well, since we're talking about that gun today, I got to say, back in the days before the Glock, and even before, because there was other guns that passed it, but when I was a kid, and there was 1911s, and then I guess there were other guns, but not on the shelves anywhere, not in gun shows that I ever went to, because you either got a Ruger, or you got a Smith & Wesson, or you got a Browning, and I liked them back then because I was dumb and young and naive, and I thought 9mm was cool and hip and trendy.
And it held 13 rounds. I mean, nothing else had that capacity back in those days.
And they had like adjustable sights and stuff. The 1911s and everything else were like basically combat guns. So you didn't, or you'd have to get a 1911 and soup it up. A Browning high power, you just bought it and started shooting it.
Yeah, true. Didn't use barrel bushing. It was a much advanced design, like the stuff that Browning did. And then, French or not, the 13 rounds of 9mm was genius. That's what made Glock famous. That's what made, it was the capacity. And, that was the first person to do it. That was the first gun that had that big capacity out of the box.
Black Hat is saying that Browning only half made it because he died, but who finished it? His son, which is his genes, so his genes made it.
Well, yeah, and the Frenchman who designed the magazine and shit like that. I mean,
the Frenchman never get credit for anything.
A Frenchman had some little part in the design, but it's basically, the thing is, it was Browning's triumphant achievement, the perfect handgun. He did it before he died. His son had to finish a little bit, and some French guy finished a little bit, but it was his perfection, and it is a perfect firearm. It's the perfect handgun. It fits the hand. It shoots like a laser beam. It's just the best gun in the world.
For those of you that are new to the show, this is Bob's Browning boner.
We'll give it to him. He's been gone for a while. He needed it.
He needed the Browning boner. All right, so that was the gun of the day.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. And yeah, so what about history?
We got real history today, or at least yesterday. I think I missed it because I fell asleep. So I'm gonna grab it. Oh, I don't have my other computer. I'll find it.
Wasn't there the shot heard around the world or whatever, right?
Yeah, but we have a more relevant one coming.
Oh, well, I thought that the thing that kicked off a war was kind of an important thing, and I forget if that was yesterday or today or something.
2 days ago, I think.
Oh.
Or a while ago. That was a bit ago.
It was within the last couple days. Like I was like, oh, that should be on this week.
April 5th, which I don't know what today is. What is today?
April something.
10th to 11.
11?
Yeah, we're way off. But the 5th, we missed Gold Star Wives Day, a day set aside to remember our Gold Star spouses who have committed and sacrificed so much for our nation, and pause to honor the sacrifices of their surviving wives and husbands. They call them spouses. Let's not forget that females get killed over there, too.
Death is very equal opportunity.
My internet's not working fast enough. So today is the 10th? No, today's not the 10th. Is today?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, well, it's the 10th.
Okay, and today's the 10th.
Yeah.
The Mosin Nagant was accepted into the service by the Soviet Army today. The date.
Well done, comrade.
Of course, I don't have the date in there. What did we miss? We missed something relevant 3 days ago. I'll go find it. But do we have the regular history there?
Oh, yeah. We will.
Even though Smeggy's running the show, Angelina has to go find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not good at the history thing.
My stupid link went away because I don't save anything in a bookmark because I'm stupid. I gotta go backwards because it puts me... Why can't I ever operate this fucking website? Here we go. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. 1866, the ASPCA is founded. Sweet. 1865, General Lee gives final address to troops. That's part of the Civil War. 1963, we were like balls deep in the British invasion at that time, but also atomic submarine sinks in the Atlantic. I don't know whose it was, but oh shit, 1970, Paul McCartney announces the breakup of the Beatles. And that's, 1972, B-52s begin bombing North Vietnam.
I never liked their music.
You don't like the Beatles?
You don't like B-52s?
Yeah, I meant the B-52s. It was a joke.
Oh.
I like the B-52s.
So I got a couple since technically my computer thinks it's tomorrow because it is where I'm at. Crap, where the heck did the thing go? In 68, Johnson signs the Civil Rights Act.
You could Google what happened yesterday, right? Instead of what happened today in history.
Yeah, well, whatever. And then, let's see, in 81, Ronald Reagan returned to the White House from the hospital after recovering. And then in 96, 43 African nations signed the African Nuclear Weapons Free Zone Treaty. So apparently Africa doesn't have any nukes. So, they voluntarily disarmed themselves. We'll see how that goes.
Canada did the same thing at the end of the World War II, because half the technicians that built the bomb were Canadians.
Yeah, we're not surprised at that, though.
Oh, I know. It was just something we went, oh, this is pretty freaking awful, eh? We shouldn't build these. Okay, because the Americans right next door, they got them, and they'll, drop them for us if we need to, right? Because the Russians will be coming for them.
Oh, yeah, we're your babysitters anyway, so you don't need them yourselves.
You kind of have to be, right? Because, we're going, oh, we're not going to spend that money. And they go, well, what if the Russians invade? Well, they're not coming after us.
I don't know. I don't know why we have to be your babysitter. I don't see what.
Because
how's it our responsibility? That sounds like your problem. But anyways, we don't have to get into a philosophical debate. G-Webs, did you find the thing yet?
Yeah, well, I feel like a shithead because basically I like to repost these things when they're actually the day, and I didn't because I'm lazy, not keeping track of shit at all. But April 9th, we missed. National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. Chosen to commemorate this day because on April 9th, 1942, U.S. forces surrendered to the Imperial Japanese Army on the Bataan Peninsula in the Philippines, and soon after began the Bataan Death March, in which U.S. service members subjected to severe physical abuse, including beatings and torture, as well as starvation. An estimated 355,000 Americans have been prisoners of war to date, back to the Revolutionary War. And on the 9th, we take time to remember our prisoners of war and our lost.
Yeah. That's too true.
Well, that was a moment of silence for that. So what else do we have? Oh, what's going on Gun Channels tomorrow?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Is watch still a thing? Is those lazy people still doing early watch? Or lazy
I don't know. Are they?
Is Jimmy still alive?
I'm sure the early watch is happening. Yeah, Jimmy just doesn't have internet right now. He had to move, and funds are low, so internet wasn't a priority for him. So I'm sure the other people are kicking in. But speaking of early watch, I got to meet Tony finally. That was pretty awesome. He's a cool dude. He not only drove all the way to Tulsa to meet up with everybody and check out the gun show, but he put off his heart surgery because the doctor told him if he did his heart surgery, he wouldn't be able to go to Tulsa. So he put off his heart surgery till after the trip. How hardcore is that?
Wow.
Damn.
And now, now I kind of feel bad that Night Strike did nothing but jump out of closets trying to scare him.
Did you hear about Night Strike pushing the old man out of a wheelchair at the museum?
Really? No, I did not hear about that, but that sounds funny.
I'll leave that for somebody else to explain.
Sounds like something Night Strike could do, though.
No. So other than early watch, I mean,
I'm falling.
So then we have Rick's Life as I See It at 7 p.m. And I believe that's the shooting with disabilities show.
Yeah. It wasn't Rick he pushed out. It wasn't Rick he pushed out of the chair, was it?
No, Rick didn't get there yet.
Oh.
So anyways, then Clover Tack at 8 o'clock has The Next Generation. That's the one focusing on getting the next youth, teaching them some good stuff. Since, kids are the future and blah, 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 all that stuff. Then Never Enough Ammo at 9 o'clock. This is Guns and Politics. I'm sure it'll have some stupid top 57 list of stupid things that are stupid. Because I hate lists. But that's all that's on the schedule for Wednesday. I feel like we've added more stuff, and that I'm still waiting for people to, let me know. I can update it. I'm not sure if I'll do a cave tonight. I might, but well, that's on Thursday now, isn't it, Hosh? That's not Wednesday.
Oh, so, you're not doing a cave tonight?
No, I might. I probably will. I'm just Hosh is plugging his own show, but his show's on Thursday, so why would we mention it tonight? We'll mention it tomorrow.
Normally it's on Friday, so he's saying the special.
Oh,
like this.
Okay. Well, then I take it back. His ham radio crash course will be at 7 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday. So check that out. And it's a special day and time. But anyways, I was trying to say, if some of the other people are out there doing shows and you're not on the schedule, just let one of the moderators know or whatever. They can edit that list. I am volunteering myself. Send me a message. Say, hey man, I'm doing the outdoor show at 11:30 or whatever. Like, okay, I'll put it in. Like, just let me know what's up. So that's that. I'm willing and able to help people get your stuff on the schedule. If not, because every time when I read like 3 shows, I'm like, every night when I'm scrolling through on gun channels, there's like 5 or 6 things on. How come we only have 3 on the list? But some of those might be because some of these people don't post on gun channels. You all just hang out in YouTube. Yep. And although you're cool people, you're only half cool because you don't hang out on gun channels. So that might be part of the issue. But we can get that rectified as well. So anyways, I think that's it with what's coming up tonight. So tomorrow. So I'm going to say like, share, subscribe, and I'm all done.
All right, Bob, do you have a quote for us?
Well, not really a quote, just so much as to say thanks everybody for listening to us. And if you can, start reading more books. It's good for the mind. It's good for the soul. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Well said. I'll just throw in there, if you want to support the tour, buy stuff over on gearwebsites.com. It'll ship on Monday. And appreciate all the support.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.